as a gospel hymn from a quote from the Bible in Matthew to bring strength and peace in times of difficulty, recognizing and realizing if God is watching over the littlest, tiniest sparrow, there is no way that that power and presence of Spirit, of God, of love, of goodness isn't also watching over us. That is resilience in a song, in a Bible verse, in action. So I mentioned tomorrow is our 51st wedding anniversary. I know resilience. You do not get this far without that quality. Right, Kirk? Right. You know, I got a little card, a little anniversary card, and it said, please share your secret. And gosh, Kirk and I talked about it. You know, we've certainly had our fair share of adversity and difficulties, as we all have. And what came to my mind is something that the American actor Matthew McConaughey said about his relationship and his marriage and why it had lasted so long. And he said, well, one thing comes to mind, a queen-size bed. So you can't get too far away from each other. He said, that's the secret. And isn't the secret of resilience and love and community the sense of connection? That's what we're here to do. We're here to bring things together, not tear them apart. And resilience comes not from hardening up and saying, I can do this, I can do this. Sometimes that might work. But resilience comes from the softening and the opening and the availability to greater understanding, to vulnerability, to the love, that light that you were talking about that's always within us. Just that's it, that love right back there, that enthusiasm that's always there in us. And that's what it means. So that's what it means for me to build on that. Resilience is discovering, and this is what Ernest Holmes said, is discovering that within us is something, always, that does not collapse, even when our outside circumstances do. It's that light, that summer that's always there, the strength. Hafez, the 14th century mystic, says, I wish at your times of loneliness and darkness, I could show you the astonishing light that is always within you. That's the same thing, that astonishing light that is within us always. And if we want to be resilient, we can't avoid adversity. If somebody has found out how to do it, would you let us know, please? Because I haven't quite found that out yet. But we can always grow from it, learn from it, and get stronger because of it. The one thing that really helps in this consciousness of resilience is remembering who we are. Every single person here, every single person in the world matters and is important. If you think what mattering is, well, what does it mean to matter? Am I mattering? Yes, we are mattering. And mattering means that we feel valued and we share value. That we know that there's something important in us and we recognize that. We share that part of us that's valuable, but we also recognize it in others. And that's what this cycle of life is all about. To remember there's a process going on. It's about finding it within ourselves first, getting to that place within, quieting our mind so we can get to that place within us that is untouched by the outer circumstances, that always holds the vibrancy, that divine essence within us. And then share that in the world. Ernest Holmes says this. He really says this emphatically. He said it emphatically, that we're born to be happy. Do you want me to repeat that? We are born to be happy, to be abundantly supplied with every good thing. Not everything, but every good thing is there for us. We're to have fun in living. I'm going to say that again. We're to have fun in living, to consciously unite with the divine power that is around us and within us always, never not there, it's always there, and to grow and expand forever and ever and ever. What's the problem? Why aren't we living that? What gets us off track? We spend too much time thinking about the wrong things. Would you agree? We spend too much time thinking about what's wrong with us, with life, with others, than thinking about what's right and good and possible. We're the dream makers. We have that capability within us to dream, to see things. Now, we can either dream of what's possible, or we can create nightmares to live in. And the problem, when we're living and create this nightmare, we can become obsessed with it. And we can start thinking that that's reality. Do you know what I mean? We can make up these stories. But what we create, our thoughts are always created, and we can always create a bigger dream and a bigger possibility. Ernest Holmes would say the biggest things, the wrong things we worry about are fear, anxiety, and worry. Those are the things that we obsess on. Now, fear becomes contagious, and the more fear we hear, especially when we're younger, if we've heard fear and negativity, it becomes prominent in our life, and it's harder, but we can get over it. We can do better. Now, I read about a neurosurgeon who's a professor at Stanford, and his name is Robert Sapolsky. And I didn't read this book, but he's definitely an academic. He's a neurosurgeon, a primatologist. For 30 years, he studied the baboons in the wild baboons in Kenya. And he's known for his study on stress. Now, he sounds pretty brilliant, doesn't he? He wrote a book called Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Isn't that fun? That's kind of a dichotomy there. I thought that was fun. And he said zebras do not get ulcers because they manage their stress. They have instant stress reaction when there's something important, like a lion coming to eat them. But when that stress is gone, they let go of the stress. The problem with humans is we don't let go of our stress that easily. It becomes a vicious cycle in our life. And we need to learn how to let go of the worry and the stress, and we can live as happily and joyfully as the zebras. I'm not sure how happily and joyfully they live, but you see them running around, and they look like, and they're in community. If you've been to Africa, which I know many have, there are an abundant amount of zebras, and they're all in community together. So that's possible for us. So how do we do that? How do we shift from that stress consciousness into the greater consciousness? It means we have to move from feeling like we're a victim and life is happening to us to realizing we are empowered beings and we are here to be in creative participation with the good, the greater possibility that's always there for us. That's our job to do. And we can do it. We can do that. The creative participation, instead of saying, now how many times have you said this morning? Oh, why is this happening to me? You lose your keys, you burn something. Why is this happening to me? Instead of realizing, what am I to learn from this? Where am I going to go with this? How is this to be better for me? It's for us, not against us. The world is always for us, but we have to work for it, work with it. I think what we need to do in order to create this better shift in consciousness is to be really, really honest with ourselves. Really honest about where we're missing the mark. It's so easy to point the finger at someone else for being the problem or something else, when we need to look at ourselves because we are so powerful, so creative. We have so much in us that wants to be expressed. If we can look and say, yeah, I'm missing the mark here. You know, the mark is, I want to share this about what I'm thinking in Corinthians, the love chapter, 1 Corinthians, when the Apostle Paul says, faith, hope, and love is what abides here right now. And the greatest of these is love. Why would that be? Why would the greatest of these be love? Because love is a synonym for God. So if we can't say, where am I missing the mark? What's going on? We can say, where am I missing love in my life right now? Where am I pointing the situation at something else, trying to blame that situation when I have the ability and capability to change my life, to change my mind, and do something better and different? We have that possibility, but we have to be honest and true. It's the great surrender. When Jesus said, whoever loses their life for my sake, God's sake, will find it. Meaning when we can lose the parts of us that deny our divine self, that's that invincible summer, that light, that goodness within us. When we're denying that true nature is when we feel off kilter, where we can't get rid of the stress, the worry, the fear, the anxiety, and get into the hope, the faith, and the love that is happening. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, in my practice, the first thing, I have to really check my thoughts. And if I'm saying right here, this is too much for me, I can't handle this, we need to step into the greater truth about what's available. And if we want to really get into a better expression of expressing love and light and all that goodness, let's take somebody who really has shown resilience. Viktor Frankl probably lived in the worst environment we could possibly imagine, worse than anything. And he said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. There's a space between what comes at you and our ability to react to that. Between the situation and the reaction, there is that space. And in that space, we can decide how we're going to respond. That's redirecting what we're going to do. We can find out how to become better listeners, better people, more understanding, more caring, if we control our responses. Is there anybody, I have to go like this sometimes. That's where I find my space. So I don't talk, I don't say anything. I just hold, calm down until I can be in charge of what I respond instead of a habitual response. You're there to be in control. And then resilience is a spiritual muscle. It needs to be strengthened and practiced every single day. We need to get ourselves in spiritual, the inner alignment. That's where it comes from, the inner alignment with meditation, affirmation, gratitude, sacred community, conscious thought. Jesus said, we need to be very conscious about where we're building our house, which could be that our thoughts, ourselves, our actions. He said, build your house on rock and not on sand. His rock meant spiritual awareness, the awareness that there's so much more going on right now than we can see or think. With those outer experiences, there's something so much more going on. And of course, the sand is when we live our life from the outer experiences, always deciding how we're going to be and what we're going to do by what's happening to us, instead of being the empowered hero of our life or the person who's in charge of our lives. We have that choice. So this is a very, I like this thought, community resilience. It's community is the theme for this month. Community resilience. It was Helen Keller who said, we are so much stronger together. We can do so much more together than we can do by ourselves. And this was another little message, a little thought from a Zulu greeting. And it says, and I want to practice this with you because it really touched me. It said, the greeting says, when you see someone, you say, sawabona, 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 and it means, I see you. I see you. I see you. I'm not looking over you or thinking, what's in my mind? I'm looking at you because I care and you matter. And the response to this is Nikona, which is, I am here. I'm here. It's a two-way street. It's the queen bed connectedness. You can't get away. I see you. I am here. We come together. And isn't that weaving life together in a beautiful way? That's what we're here to do. It was Mary Oliver who said, I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. I want to live. I want to love my life. So what I want to do right now is, first of all, if you'll close your eyes, just with your feet on the ground. We talked about that place within us, that invincible summer, no matter what's going on in this outer world, that astonishing light of our being, that divine self that is within us. We want to get connected to that. So if we can quiet our mind and breathe out consciously any of the negative thoughts, the disconnected thoughts, the limiting feelings we have right now, to just go deep within and touch that space and place that is always there within us, that's empowering, that's strengthening, that brings joy and light to us, to touch that space. And fill yourself up right now. I call them the white sparklies of goodness. The white sparklings of that healing energy and power that's always within us. And just fill ourselves with that. So we can just breathe a conscious breath. That we can get up from that place and stand more empowered and stronger than we have. And know right where we are, life is, goodness is, love is, as we fill ourselves with that. And just to allow ourselves to realize and know in this moment that the consciousness of youth is not a time in our life. It's a state of mind. We don't grow old merely by the number of years we've been living. It's because we separate. We desert our beliefs, our purpose, our knowing that we matter, we are important. We are here for a reason. The most important thing for keeping a youthful mind and attitude is not stepping away from the enthusiasm of life, but filling ourselves with wonder and curiosity and being able to live in the questions. And I empower us to do that now. So as we just simply feel the white sparklies of light, of love, of goodness, of the summer, of the possibility within us, I'm just going to invite you to take a breath and just peacefully open your eyes to become fully present and, see the light in the room. And I'd like to do a little call and response before we have our closing song this morning, so we can leave here in a place where we feel we value ourselves, we value our life, and we value one another. So your answer is going to be, I love my life. Practice it, please. Okay. We'll keep saying it until you believe it, okay? So I'm going to say a few things, and I'd like you to just respond with, I love my life. And I want you to really say it as if you mean it, and soon you'll believe it, because you deserve to love your life and yourself. I awaken to the sacred gift of being alive. Through every challenge, I discover my strength and my courage and my wisdom. God within me guides me, sustains me, and renews me. With gratitude, with courage, and with trust. Okay, hold on, I'm sorry, I was too slow. With gratitude, with courage, and with trust, I embrace this beautiful life, this beautiful journey that I've been given. Ooh, and I love all of you, because that love is contagious and it makes us all a better person. So let's just take this day to leave here and know that not only do we love our life, but we love each other. So let's just say out loud, I love you, and you, and you, and you, and I am here, and so are you. I see you, I am here, I love you, and so it is. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for being here this Sunday. I love you all very, very much. Take care.